The following video by Arizona State students Kelly Gattis, Ryan Johnston, Sean O'Connell, and Joshua Ramirez has been put together through hours of dedicated research into the cities of Killeen, Texas, Champaign, Illinois, Bend, Oregon, and Roswell, New Mexico. This video will rank each community while presenting its positives and negatives in relation to the establishment of a new NASA facility dedicated to the study of extraterrestrial life forms. Killeen, Texas has been ranked the #1 community due to many factors. Firstly, location. Killeen is located in central Texas, which offers an ideal climate where it never becomes freezing and rarely exceeds 100 degrees. Killeen is also situated between Fort Hood, one of the largest military bases in the world, and the Texas A&M University. This offers NASA both security and academically minded individuals. Killeen also has a thriving government that has been able to continuously raise its annual budget without any debt and has dedicated much of those increases into reorganization and beautification of the city. In years past, the city of Killeen established the Killeen Business Park. Located next to the city's railroad and freeway system, the Killeen Business Park is an optimal location for the new NASA facility as it is away from housing areas and has designated utilities already available for the new building. Although there are many positives to Killeen, there are also negatives. Killeen has an obesity problem with over 35% of its population overweight. Killeen also is nearly 4% lower than the national average when it comes to vaccination rates. Killeen has also issued water boiling notices in the past due to the city's main water source also being used for recreational activities.
All right, community number 2 is Champaign, Illinois. Some of the positive aspects. Its proximity to major city populations, including Chicago and Indianapolis, within 2 hours of the city. And there are several different modes of transportation. On top of that, Champaign is also the host of the University of Illinois, which has a top 10 aeronautical and astronautical engineering program. There are a large number of recreational activities, including parks and cultural locations, and football and basketball games that are hosted by the University of Illinois. Champaign is also known as the greatest Midwestern food town with several different diverse cuisines and good bar locations. There's also access to scientific surveys via the Prairie Research Institute, and has a highly educated population with nearly 2/3 of the population of adults having completed some college and a relatively low cost of living. Some of the negative aspects for Champaign is that it does have a very high crime rate with a 14 out of 100 on the crime scale index. Not only that, but they also have a high obesity rate in adults with 31% and a relatively undermanned police force. They're short 21 officers with a functioning serviceable strength of 73.6% and a higher than average poverty rate, nearly eclipsing 6% above the national average.
Our third community of choice was Bend, Oregon. Bend is located in central Oregon and is accessible between 2 major highways that intersect. It is also home to an airport and a railway line that runs through the city. It sits at the border between a snowy mountainous region and an arid desert. This combination of climates fuels a year-long tourism industry that contains the likes of skiing and snowing to the in the west, in the more snowy and mountainous areas, and kayaking and hiking in the more arid region to the east. This area to the east is known as the Oregon Badlands, and it is actually where we believe that the facility, if Bend is chosen, would be most suited. There are various factors that make this facility more secure. If Bend is chosen, isolation is one. The relative control that can be exerted over the Badlands really can't be overstated. And also the fact that water security for the facility and for the city is not an issue at all. So in the case of any quarantine, the city is completely self-sufficient in that regard. While Bend has many positives that really make it a good location for its facility, it's really just outmatched by the first two cities that we looked at. Also, there are some factors unique to Bend really that the other cities don't suffer from, such as Bend's recent surge in migration. While this is good for the city's economy, it really introduces a lot of variables that NASA may be concerned with, such as how this will affect community integration with the facility, and also should be considered the ecological and environmental impact of the facility should it be constructed in the Badlands, which we still believe is the most optimal place within the city.
Roswell, New Mexico is located between Texas and Arizona, closer to the Texas border. The city has a 4-lane highway, transit bus system, an airport, and houses around 50,000 residents. There are 2 major modes of transportation in Roswell, the bus system and an airport, but most citizens drive their own personal vehicles. The city is able to supply water for up to 4 million people and has 2 electric companies. Although the infrastructure seems to make an appealing appearance for the NASA facility, the 79 vacant lots located in Roswell are not far enough away from the city. Roswell also experiences flooding many times throughout the year. One of the floods that occurred in 2022 is referred to as the 100-year flood because of the severity of rainfall and damage. Flooding often happens in Roswell because of how close it resides to the Pecos River. The city of Roswell also has a high crime rate. The crime rate is at a level of 7, meaning that Roswell is not considered safer than most other cities. With the high rate of crime, lack of adequate land space, and the severity of flooding, Roswell is deemed the least likely to be suitable for the NASA facility. For the community of Roswell to become a viable candidate, the city would need to create an emergency flood plan, clear out as many lots as possible, and set up high-profile security. Each community has presented both positive and negative aspects. Of the 4 communities evaluated, Killian has been ranked first due to its climate, location, local government practices, and designated business area. The next steps for NASA is to allocate resources and funding and to establish a rapport with Fort Hood. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the presentation.